Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm doing another kill count. Now, I should have saved this till October, but I was like, nah, I'll be doing other kill counts that month. But anyway, we're talking about Halloween, John Carpenter's 1978 film that ignited the slasher subgenre after producer Owen Jablans came up with the idea, the movie's title, and a simple premise involving babysitter co-writers and producers John Carpenter and Deborah Hill set out to make the horror history with a laughable small budget of only $320,000, provided by Yablan and the unquote grandfather of Halloween, Mufasa Akkad. I think I said that correctly. There are lots of reasons this movie went far on so little, from the ironic, haunting score composed by Carpenter himself to the suburban setting that made the audience feel as vulnerable as the victims they were watching to watch the memorable performances by 20-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis and the original Ernest Stavro Blofeld, Donald Pleasence. But above all else, Halloween succeeded because of its blank-face stalker, Michael Myers, also known as the Shape. Film played by filmmaker Nick Castle from a measly $25 a day. The man has modified William Shatner mask, terrified audience, and kicked off the first horror genre's royal franchise of the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be covering Halloween movies, meaning 11 movies and 5 different timelines, but I'll be not covering Halloween Kills because I have to wait to home video or DVD or Blu-ray. Don't worry though, because I'll be definitely doing a kill count on that. And we're in for a crazy ride as well. I'll guide you through the franchise as Sam Loomis because the shrieking madman as Michael's origins becomes tied up in a cult, and all the times that the series tries to reinvent itself. Whether that's a couple of hit millennials horror comedies, a low-class white trash hillbilly saga, or Irish toy makers selling deadly Halloween masks. But before we get into all of that, we're gonna go to Haddonfield, Illinois, and count the kills that started it all. The movie begins. Let's get to the killings. The movie begins with a jack-o'-lantern and a title card. Right away, even the opening credits are iconic. They're backed up by the dope-ass Halloween theme, and because when it zooms into that pumpkin eye and nose, it looks like Michael himself holding a knife. After that, we're in Haddonfield, Illinois on Halloween night, 1963. And a first-person POV shot, similar to the one that opened Black Christmas. The POV shot is in Halloween were done by the recently invented Steadicam technology by cinematographer Dean Cundey, who would go on to shoot blockbusters such as Back to the Future trilogy and Jurassic frickin' Park. We watch as the audience surrogate peeps in on a couple making out before they head upstairs for more heavy petting. After a stop at the kitchen drawer where Deborah Hill's hand grabs a butcher knife, the first person view sees a dude putting a shirt back on and leaving the house. It's only been a minute, dude. Was that one of those never happens to me situations? The camera heads upstairs and grabs a clown mask from the floor, obfuscating our view. It walks into a very open bedroom of a topless Judith Myers girl. Topless hairbrushing. Is that the best? Is that the best? I'm sure. Maybe just close the door or else you'll risk this happening. Yep, this is Michael Myers' first kill older sister Judith. As much as he is a noob at murdering, that he has to keep checking his stabbing form while he kills her. You're doing fine, Mikey. Don't worry. When he's done with Judith is left as topless, bloody corpse lying on the bedroom floor. So the first kill of the movie, Judith Myers, 5 minutes and stabbed 9 times with a butcher knife. Now we go to So Michael heads down the stairs and out of the door right as his parents pull up. The extended first-person shot finally ends when they demask him and then just kind of stand there for an awkwardly long time without saying anything or emoting. As the camera pulls away, classic cold open though jumps to Smith's Grove in the same state now 15 years later on Halloween Eve. 'Twas a dark and stormy night when Dr. Sam Loomis, played by the masterful Donald Pleasence, joins chain-smoking nurse I don't know if I say the name, Chambers, to go to the Smith's Grove Sanitarium. They're going to pick up Michael Myers, who Loomis keeps referring to as an it, and transfer him to another faculty. But things take a turn for the creepy when they see that the Smith's Grove's inmates are out and about getting all wet instead of being concerned about them catching hypothermia like a real doctor would. Loomis presses forward and hops out to open the hospital gate. That's when Michael Myers hops on the top of the car of Maureen's car and grabs her by the face, tormenting her until she flees her vehicle. That he promptly Grand Theft Auto's Michael must have been top of the class at Smith's Grove driver's ed program. At the next day back at Haddonfield, we meet Laurie Strode, a modest dressed high schooler played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Her Halloween night plans involves babysitting the little kid Tommy Doyle, who all sorts of scared of the abandoned Myers house. Laurie has a key to the place because her dad is a local realtor. But as she leaves under the mat, she doesn't notice that she's being watched by the shape inside, and the shape outside must be one of those interior shapes. The shape continues, and its voyeuristic tendencies when Laurie's in school, staring at her behind the nurse Chambers' car parked across the street. But while Laurie's busy being SMRT, smart girl, he vanishes into thin air. Which way did he go, Laurie? Which way did he go? In Smith's Groves, Dr. Terence Wynn, a colleague of Loomis's, blames a small doctor for Michael's escape and says it's unlikely that Michael is headed to Haddonfield, 150 miles away. On his way to Haddonfield, Loomis stops at the payphone to warn the Haddonfield police, and that's where he notices a truck on the side of the road. He finds evidence that Michael was there, but runs off before seeing a second body on the kill count. The mechanic dude, 19 minutes in body scene. We don't know how he died, but body hidden in the grass. This poor truck driver who Michael apparently killed and stripped for that classic blue jumpsuit. Damn, man, stealing cars and clothes. Michael just as much as a thief as he is a murderer. Laurie walks home with her cheerleader friend Linda, played by PJ Soles, who's totally got a problem saying totally all the frickin' time. They're joined by Annie Brackett, played by Nancy Keys, whose credited stage name was, interestingly enough, Nancy Loomis. Michael Myers rolls by in his station wagon at a nice slow stalkery pace. But that doesn't stop Annie, the sheriff's daughter, from playing citizen cop. Hey jerk, speed kills. Michael stops his car threateningly, but after a pregnant pause, just keeps on driving. He catches back with them later on the walk home, when he's standing behind a bush staring at Laurie and Annie. But when Annie goes to confront him, he disappeared once again. Michael does it a lot. He does it in some more movies. After Laurie gets home to her room, decorated with smart person stuff, she sees him outside by the clothesline. there somehow without her gaze ever breaking. He just disappears. That one doesn't make any sense to me. But okay, we get it. He's a creepy stalker. Meanwhile, Dr. Loomis arrives in Haddonfield and he goes to the cemetery only to find out Judith Myers' gravestone has been removed, straight plucked from the ground. Later that day, Laurie gets picked up by Annie and they're having so much fun. Good times smoking a doob and listening to Blue Oyster Cult. They don't notice Michael tailing them, in the Myers mobile. He gives them same space when he pulls over to talk to Annie. So when they talk to Annie's dad, Sheriff Brackett, who's checking out a hardware store burglary that sounds like a specific hit. All they took was a Halloween mask, rope, and a couple of knives. Wait, why did the hardware store have Halloween mask? Somehow Papa Brackett doesn't smell that dank weed in the car, so he waves the girls goodbye. Right before Loomis shows up and introduces himself. Psst, Loomis, look behind you, dude. The shape you want is right behind you. Night comes and Sheriff Brackett takes Loomis to the Myers house, where it all went down 15 years ago. They find a dead dog off screen, the first of many pooches that Michael will kill throughout the series. During a tour of the house, Donald Pleasance gets to Capital A Act, where he tells Brackett about Michael's psychiatric history. I met this 6-year-old child with the blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. That's some good acting. Now, it is night time. The teens of Haddonfield are out making some babysitter money. Michael silently observes Annie as she gets to the house. She's watching over the Wallace family home while just across the road at Tommy Doyle's house, Laurie is already nice and cozy, shitting all over Tommy's taste in comic books. Annie calls Laurie to tell her she's arranged a date with our virginal final girl, with a dude she's into named Ben Trammer. Pretty much every scene with Laurie and her friend involved them telling her she needs to get laid. But I want to mention that convo is in particular because Ben Trammer comes back in a hilarious way next movie. Tommy looks out of the window and sees the shape standing outside of the Wallace home. But when he gets Laurie to look, Mike's pulled out his disappearing act again. Turns out he has gone around the back to watch Annie take her shirt off, after she spilled butter on it. While he's peeping in the Wallace family, people in the Wallace family, dog Lester, the Wallace family dog Lester comes across him and starts growling. Michael makes short work of this poor canine and kills him. But in case you're new here, I'm only counting humans on the kill count. Sorry, Lester. Annie gets a call from her boyfriend Paul saying that his parents are gone and that it's bone o'clock. So she takes little Lindsay Wallace across the street to drop her off with Laura and Tommy. The kids immediately get to watching The Thing from Another World. A fun inclusion in hindsight, since Carpenter would go on to make his own version of The Thing just 4 years later. Laurie agrees to watch over Annie's in charge with while Annie takes a visit to Pound Town. Annie never get to fulfill her teenage desires though. Cause after she gets in her car to pick up El Jerko, she's attacked by Michael Myers from the backseat. He strangles her in a lengthy silent scene with no noise except from his heavy breathing and the sounds of her struggle until she finally starts blaring the car horn in an effort to attract some help. That's when Michael cuts the kill short with a butcher knife, slitting her throat as Annie Brackett becomes the third member of our kill count. So, third kill, Annie Brackett. 54 minutes in, strangled and throat slit. Michael may be good at killing decreasingly, but he's got to work on his body disposal, since Tommy sees him from the front window carrying that corpse under a bright porch light. Props for being able to open that door with no hands, Mikey. You'd be great at one of those supermarket delivery service jobs, in case you're having some unpleasant withdrawals from a lack of Loomis. We get a fun little scene wherein he scares some kids that had bullied Tommy earlier. They're outside the Myers house, daring each other to go touch it, like freaking Bo Radley there. Like freaking Boo Radley lives there. But sorry, back to the horny teenagers. Linda and her boyfriend Bob rolls up to the Wallace house so they can bang there. While Annie keeps little Lindsay distracted. Of course, neither Annie nor Lindsay are home right now, so they're content to just make out on the stranger's couch was way too distracted to see the shape standing mere feet away, watching them. Later on the call, Laurie, who tells them that little Lindsay is gone for the night, so they escalate their debasement of the Wallace house to go full on in their parents' bed. Also, is that a real pumpkin jack-o'-lantern on the nightstand? Who does that? But I mean, it's kind of cool though. They do have some unusually short sex session after which Linda is totally lying when she says it was fantastic. Then Bob sends off to get her a beer. As he leaves, he breaks one of Randy Meek's rules for surviving horror movies. I'll be right back. After Bob grabs the beer, we get one of the best scenes in the movie when Michael pops out of the closet and starts choking Bob against the wall. It's a pretty solid jump scare, and the kill is Michael's finest in the film, as he lifts Bob off the ground with a single hand, and he uses his other hand to stab Bob with his butcher knife. The icing on the top is when Michael removes his hand and Bob's feet elevated off the ground. Michael stares at the new wall decoration with a couple of head tilts, showing he can appreciate his murder art from multiple angles. So that is a fourth kill of the movie. Bob, an hour and 5 minutes in, stabbed through the chest with a butcher knife. Multiple angles. Linda Van der Klok is our next helpless victim, and Michael dresses up in the occasion. It's Ghost Bob Michael Myers, and it's probably my favourite image from the movie. It's followed by what's probably many of other people's favourite image from the movie, as Linda tries to seduce Bob out of his Halloween spirit after Ghost Bob is totally unresponsive. Linda goes to call Laurie, but as soon as Laurie answers, Linda is attacked by Michael, who strangles her with the phone cord. Laurie hears noises over the phone, first assuming it's some sort of sex noise prank, but to her credit, kind of very concerned by the time. But to her credit, she does become concerned by the time. Linda is totally down and out for another kill on the kill count. So fifth kill of the movie. Linda, an hour and 7 minutes in, strangled to death with a phone cord. After she's dead, Michael, all like, new phone, who dis? But Laurie hangs up on him, boring conversation anyway. And back to Dr. Loomis, who inexpressively kind of speak, just now sees that Marnie Chambers station wagon is parked across the street. Maybe you would have noticed it earlier if you weren't too busy causing out the neighborhood kids. Loomis, but now he knows Michael is in town. He's on the move, concerned about the Moni phone call from Wallace's home. Laurie heads across the street to check on Annie and Linda it's completely dark inside. After she heads upstairs, she follows the only light on into her bedroom, where she gets to kick off her final girl circuit by finding Annie's body splayed out on the bed in front of Judith Meyer's gravestone. And as with any true final girl circuit, she finds the bodies in unlikely ways, with Bob swinging down from the ceiling somehow, and a cabinet door opening on it to reveal that it's PJ Souls doing a pretty goofy dead body face. The corpse scares Laurie out into the hallway, where in a very cool shot the shape materializes from the shadows behind her. He steps out and stabs her in the shoulder, grazing her with a slash. That sends her over the banister and crashes into the bottom of the staircase. One of the most famous horror movie chase scenes begins as Laurie tries to escape through all these locations that the movie has done a great job setting you up. Know the exact physical layout of them. I think it's one of the most undervalued geniuses of the movie. Laurie goes back to the Doyle house and is locked out. As Michael slowly makes his way across the street towards her, Tommy finally lets her in and she barks at him to go hide upstairs. With the lights off and the phone line dead, Laurie hunkers down and grabs a knitting needle. Michael appears behind her, giving her having come through the window, but when he misses an easy strike with his knife, she's able to stab him in the neck with a needle, which gets him to the ground. But Laurie, a Gen 1 final girl who doesn't know the way that shit works, she assumes that the single stab has put her tormentor out of business for good. She goes upstairs to tell the kids it's over, that she killed him, but Tommy knows better. You can't kill the boogeyman. You're right, Tommy, because Michael was right behind them. Laurie ushers the kids into one and goes into another, where she hides in the closet. Michael follows, and we get another classic scene as he violently shakes the closet door for a while before punching through it and turns on the light. It's a good thing Laurie never listens to her mummy, Dearest, though, and has a wire hanger as a disposable, which she turns into a weapon and then uses to stab Michael Myers right in the eye. Michael drops his knife and she presses on with the attack, stabbing him in the chest with it. This knocks him out again and gives Laurie another false sense of security. As she leaves the comfort of the closet, once again she consults the children and tells them to go to the street to a neighbor's house and call the police. After she sends them, she sits there catching her breath and doesn't notice when behind her Michael single-handedly pioneers a new workout program, Horror Killer Abs, and get that six-pack in 11 movies or less, one sit-up at a time. The kids run out of the front of the door screaming bloody murder, and since Loomis happens to be walking by, he puts two and two together and heads towards the house. Good thing, since Michael has made his way over to Laurie and starts strangling her with his bare hands. Right as Loomis runs upstairs, Laurie pulls off Michael's mask, giving us a fleeting glimpse of a very plain-looking face of evil. In a shot where Michael was played by a dude named Tony Moran, Loomis fires his gun at Michael, then follows through and shoots him 5 more damn times with his gun, sending the spree out onto the back balcony and over railing, where he lies on the ground in defeat. After the gun smoke is cleared, Laurie gets a debriefing from Loomis, Michael's boogeyman credentials, and sealed with when Loomis looks outside to find Michael Myers is missing. That bastard somehow survived and is free to kill once more. The movie ends expertly with a montage of all the locations we've seen as Michael's heaving breathing grows louder and louder, suggesting that nowhere in Haddonfield is safe from the shape. It is good as it's a good thing that Michael brushed off to kill again, because his initial body count is pretty weak. Here, I'll show you the scaling. Only 5 people died in this movie. Two were male victims and 3 were female victims. It does leave room for growth. With the pumpkin pie chart, 3 were female and 2 were males, which gives more to the females, which is good. Well, it's not good, but you know what I mean. With a runtime of 91 minutes, we wind out with a kill on average every 18.2 minutes. I'll give the coolest kill to Bob. I'm nice. I know you can't really see. I'll try my best to. There we go, Bob. Yeah. Because the way on his death is just so cool to watch on the screen. And the dumbest kill will have to go to the mechanical trucker dude, whatever you like to call him. Because we don't know how he died. It would have been cool to see Michael take the jumpsuit, on screen, but that did not happen, and that is Halloween. Halloween came out in 1978 and ignited a bushfire of slashers and eventually its own lengthy series of sequels. We look at the first of those, Halloween 2. I'll be doing couple of days, Sunday maybe. But until then, this has been the Kill Count.